I hope you guys are doing amazing. I have a quick question for you that is probably more thought provoking than quick. But here we go. Have you ever had a thought about yourself that included the word just? I have been working with future free mamas for the last 8 years. And before that, I spent 2 years freelancing, which is now how I teach women to create more freedom and flexibility in their lives, being able to earn income on their own terms, doing something that hopefully you really like and enjoy. And I know that both when I started and with nearly every woman I encounter, there is a sentence that you and I will say about ourselves that has the word just in it. That is a reason why we can't do the thing we say we want to do. So it might sound like this. It might say, well, I'm just a mom, or, I'm just a teacher, or I just have an associate's degree, or whatever it is. Like we want to like constrain and limit ourselves with that just, with that limiting thought. And today, in today's video, I want to talk about how both those negative thoughts that we can have, or just limiting thoughts that we have about ourselves, but also the really bad advice that is out there online, that makes me like cringe in my own skin because I know that it doesn't work. I know that it is a sales tactic, a predatory sales tactic. And it just makes me cringe. And so today I want to talk about what some of those things are that you maybe have tried. You may be saying about yourself. Maybe you're hearing it from other people online that you need to go do this thing. But I want to tell you what you should go do instead because it works. And it worked not just for me, by the way, it's worked for literally thousands of other people, probably hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions, but within my ecosystem, thousands. And it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. So, we talked about the just word. Other things I always hear is like, I'm not good enough at tech. I need a certification. I am getting started too late. I'm too old. My kids are too young. Whatever the thing, like, there's all these things that we'll say that kind of prevent us from even getting started. And I'm not going to dive too much deeper into that because the mindset part is something that we definitely do in the free mama community, but it's a whole nother conversation outside of, we'll call it strategy, or like those actions that you should take in order to bring in revenue at wanting to work from home. Maybe it is something like I'm too shy, or another one that I heard a lot, especially when I was getting started, is like, well, I'm from a small town. And I found all of these comments that we would say to sort of give us a reason why we couldn't have what we wanted. I found it really curious because we have the internet. So, like, it doesn't matter that you're from a small town. That does not matter at all. The fact that you're shy, I think, is again, that goes into more of a mindset belief because some of the most well known, I would even say enthusiastic, charismatic speakers and successful business owners that I know are some of the most introverted people that I have ever met, truly. And they will tell you that. And so all of those are things that can just absolutely be overcome. You can learn new tech. Like all of these things are just things that we say to ourselves. But on the flip side of that is the things that other people are telling us that are steering us in the wrong direction. So I wrote down a couple of the things, pieces of advice that I hear from people that I think is like really either horrible or just completely incomplete advice. And the first is, well, just go cold pitch people. Like just go email people. And I wish I had pulled up like a shared screen. And really, I wish years ago I would have started a folder in my inbox. But I receive probably somewhere around, I would say at least one. So we'll say 1 to 10. I receive 1 to 10 cold pitches every single day as a business owner. Not every week, not every month, every single day, somewhere between 1 and 10 cold pitches. And I can tell you that 99.99999% of people are really, really bad at it. And so that is what makes that really bad advice. Now, is there a way to reach out to a business owner and introduce yourself and maybe earn their business? Of course. We even teach that. We recently had a speaker come in who is a part of the Free Mama community, who was a part of our last virtual event and taught us sort of her process for how she reaches out to cold leads. But it is not these tactics that she actually borrowed some of mine from my email, where your goal is just to like spam as many people as possible and hope and pray that one of them is not irritated by you, because it is very irritating to receive that many cold pitches a day, and that they simultaneously just would maybe like need your services and want to work together and give you their money. And it's really, really bad advice. So we don't want to be doing the cold pitching. Other advice that I hear that makes me super duper cringe is, well, just go market yourself. And the reason that telling people just to go market yourself when you have a business is that that is incredibly vague. Like, there are so many different social media platforms, print platforms, other online tactics, in-person tactics. I mean, if you think about marketing as a whole, I mean, we still have magazines and newspapers, and I still get those flyer packs and the mail, and there's still billboards and yard signs and TV commercials and radio commercials, and none of that's even on the internet. And so telling somebody like, well, just go market yourself is really bad advice that I think discourages a lot of people and makes us hesitant to want to get started because it's exhausting. And frankly, I think we feel bothersome. And so we don't want to go do that because we feel like, well, like, I don't even know what that is. And so how am I going to be successful? And then the biggest problem that I see online right now, that actually, after I did one of my lives in this community last week, and I was talking about some of the things that I think are very predatory, but also don't get people results. So it takes away women's confidence because they often end up losing money on these opportunities, which statistically speaking is completely different from the world of freelancing. Is I saw an ad from a woman, and it's when everything is intentionally vague, but it is really scratching at your desire. So almost every, I should have taken a screenshot. I probably could go find it. Pretty much everything that I said in my live from last week, if you didn't watch it, you can go find it here on this page. But I was talking about all of those things that we want to watch out for. And it was like a business in a box. It is when you are listening to someone talk and they're not actually telling you what you're going to be doing. They're just telling you how amazing it's going to be. They're just telling you how much money you're going to make and how you don't actually, like, you can do all of this in an hour a day and you don't need an audience. You don't need to market yourself. You don't need to work, basically, is what they're telling you. Like, you don't have to do anything. Everything already exists and you're going to make millions of dollars off of it. But I'm not actually telling you what it is that you're going to be doing. Those things you have to treat with a red flag. If you are listening to someone, if you are reading something from someone, if you are being served an advertisement, if you are on a webinar and it is not crystal clear what you will be doing, that is not probably a business model that you want to get involved in. It is probably going to end really poorly. And unfortunately, I see a lot of people being taught this technique of essentially being misleading to try to get people on an emotional hook to get them to invest with you and spend their money. And honestly, if I were not self-employed, I would probably go knock on the door of the FTC and be like, can I have a job here? Because I feel like I could go take a lot of people down who are doing very unethical, essentially illegal behaviors. And the FTC is cracking down. So my hope is that in the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot fewer of these things impacting women. But in the meantime, you have to be very discerning about these work from home opportunities. That's what we were talking about all last week, right? Following Mother's Day, like many of us as moms, you know, this community is called the Free Mama. We want the freedom and flexibility so that we can, yes, work and do something we love and feel like we're creating something, because this is part of the human desire. But we also want to be creating something at home with our families and be there with our kids. And I know it's Maycember and everybody's talking about how busy it is right now with the school year wrapping up and and concerts and performances and graduations and field trips and all of these things. And we want to be present for that. And so, just so there's like no confusion about it, I teach moms how to freelance. I didn't invent freelancing. Freelancing is kind of like a job, but you are not an employee. You are providing a service to business owners and entrepreneurs and companies. And because you are a freelancer or a W-9 as opposed to a W-2 full-time employee, what that means legally is you set your hours, you set your pay, you decide your own services. Now, there are other things you need to know that I can teach you about freelancing, but that's freelancing in a nutshell. And so there's no being vague about what I'm teaching people how to do. And when I see people putting these posts out there that are intentionally vague, again, they're looking for that emotional hook just to get someone reeled in who is probably most vulnerable. It's incredibly concerning. And in our industry, it's happening a lot. And again, I hope to see that shutting down. So, okay, we've kind of talked about our thoughts. So, our limiting beliefs that stop us from getting into freelancing. We've talked about the really bad advice out there online. And so what I want to share with you next is sort of what should you do instead? And there's this saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you've probably heard that saying, and I do think that there is some validity to that, right? I mean, nepotism aside, in Hollywood or politics or wherever, connections are really incredibly valuable in any type of workplace, whether you're self-employed or not. However, I don't think that that saying takes it far enough, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, okay, that means I can maybe reach out to some people, but what's actually the most powerful is it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And so this is kind of a Laurenism. This is something I've been saying for years. It's who knows you. And so the thing that we can be doing as moms is building connections with other business owners. And this is really cool because in the free mama space, we are a natural safe space of business owners and a source of referrals. So inside of our community, this happens really organically, really naturally. But of course, we're one small corner of the internet, and there's a lot of ways for you to do this. And you don't have to do this online, even. You can do this in your local community or when you travel or whatever the case may be. There are potential connections everywhere. And so there's an analogy that I've been sharing for a really long time about planting seeds versus being what I like to call bar guy. So go back to maybe before you were married or before you had a partner or the last time you were dating. And let's say you're out at a restaurant or a bar. You're either by yourself, you're with a group of friends, it doesn't matter. Most of us have probably had this life experience where someone approached us that was maybe not super welcome, and was like hitting on us and maybe being a little aggressive. And you feel like you are showing them all of the non-verbal cues that you are not interested. But they're like all over you and you're like hard pass, right? So that's bar guy. Like he can't take a hint. He's kind of slimy. He's trying to give and get something that the other person literally does not want or need. And it's gross. And if you've had that happen to you, you know, you're just kind of like, please leave me alone. Like, I need to take a shower now. Alone. Thank you. So that's bar guy. And a lot of people on the internet, when you go cold pitch yourself, you are being a bar guy. Like you are literally just like walking down the line at the bar trying to buy girl after girl a drink, hoping one of them might invite you home. That is gross. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for the woman, and it probably doesn't feel good for the guy when ultimately they probably end up going home alone, not making any sales and not having any clients, which is what happens when you follow that bad advice. That can also be an example of just go market yourself. It's like, well, I feel like I need to talk to everybody. I remember when I was in MLM, I always say this, I've never publicly shared what MLM I tried before I found the world of freelancing, but I think some people figure it out when I talk about this example because apparently it's taught maybe throughout the company. But I was literally taught, so it was kind of in the skin product arena. And I was taught that everyone has skin, therefore everyone is a potential client. I was literally told that by my like upline or whatever it's called. Everyone has skin, therefore everyone is your ideal client. Therefore, go try to sell this stuff to everyone, was literally the advice. Go market yourself. It was horrible advice. I ended up really burdening my friends and family who, those who were really close to me, wanted to feel supportive. So they like bought a couple things, but clearly didn't want it. Like looking back now, I'm like, I feel guilty because and grateful that they were so supportive of me. But I'm like, I was so drinking the Kool-Aid that I didn't even understand that they were not interested. And I was totally being bar guy. Now, the flip side of being bar guy is to plant seeds. And when I talk about planting seeds, I am talking about let's go make some new friends. And I'm being dead serious. Like, let's go make some friends with other freelancers, with business owners. Maybe it's a local networking event. Meetup.com is great for that. We host monthly online networking events in the Free Mama movement community. There are other online events and opportunities to do this. You can even start connections with people right here on social media or LinkedIn. So there's all different ways, but it's about meeting them. It's about making a friend, about making a connection. If you go in with the mentality of like, I'm here to get clients, like you're going to come across like bar guy. And so that is not what we want. And the reason I always encourage freelancers, whether you've been doing this for 0 days or for 10 years, to focus on relationships and focus on networking is that when you're a one-to-one service provider, meaning I'm one person providing service for one business at a time. I mean, you could have like 6 businesses at a time, but like you're working with them one-on-one. Um, when that is what you're doing, 100% of the time, and I will die on this hill, networking is the best way to build your business because it's your reputation. And again, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So as you're building friends, your goal isn't to like sell everybody something or to try to buy them a drink and take them home. Your goal is for them to know what you do. Hi, my name's Lauren. I'm a business coach. I have an e-learning platform where I teach other women how to freelance. Like, you might not be a woman, you might not be a mom, you might not have any desire to freelance. But if you know that and maybe someone in your life is interested, that becomes exponential growth. Because when you start to focus on your network, your friends, your business owning friends and community that you can build, it's not just, oh, like now I need Lauren. It's no, Joe Schmo, who I was out there telling about my business at some random networking event, he is now at Thanksgiving dinner where his sister is bawling her eyes out because she hates her 9 to 5 job. And he's like, oh, I know someone who teaches women how to be able to work from home. What was her name again? Oh, yeah, you should go look up the Free Mama online. And I know that sounds really simplistic, but this happens every day. This happens every day. I wish I could say it happens more frequently than the cold pitches I receive, but probably not that frequently. Unfortunately, there are more spammy people out there than people who are truly focused on building connection. But guess which business lasts longer? We have Free Mamas celebrating their 6th, 7th, and 8th year in freelancing. And this is only my 8th year in business. So they've been doing it as long as I've been teaching them. I've been self employed for over 10 years now, which is really, really wild. So all of this is completely attainable and will help you get the revenue goals that you need to hit literally through creating more friendships with people. And what's really awesome is that you're going to experience even more amazing results when you focus on this one strategy of networking. And that's that you're not going to feel lonely going through it. You're going to be developing more friendships with people. Like I mentioned, with the exponential growth, you will always have this growing source of referrals. Now, you can't just like make a friendship with somebody one time and then never talk to him again, right? That's not really how friendships go. So I want to be honest, this isn't you're only going to have to work 1 hour a day for the rest of your life and you're going to make $1 million lie like I'm seeing other people sell online. You're going to have to work, but I have always maintained part-time hours in my business and yielded a full-time income. Even my first full year freelancing, I was working half the hours in my previous 9 to 5 job and out earned my salary. So it's a matter of how do you want to spend your time? And I think for most of us, even if you're shy or you're introverted, having real connection with people who actually care about you and then being able to do work that you're being aligned with the people who actually want and need what you have, as opposed to out there selling skincare products to people with skin, it feels really good. It feels like helping. And one of the biggest things that I've learned over the last 8 years is how heart centered most women are. We want to help other people. And to me, freelancing is one of the greatest paths to be able to do that because you are literally helping yourself and your family with financial benefits and the flexibility to show up by getting paid to help other people. Like you are helping them grow their businesses, you're helping them take their missions out in the world. And so you want to get aligned with those people who actually want and need what you're able to provide for them. So that's my spiel for today. I know there are 1,000,001 reasons that you could probably come up with for why you shouldn't try freelancing, or maybe you've even tried it before, but you didn't have the right path to follow. But I'm telling you, you only need one good reason to pursue it. And I hope over the last week and a half, I've done a good job of showcasing that it can completely transform your life. And if I haven't, I would love the opportunity to not only teach you my freedom framework that over 8,000 women have followed to be able to start their own home-based business, but I want to introduce you to some of those women. And so next week, for the first time, we are sort of broadcasting the freedom framework that has always been inside of my curriculum that of what I teach people. And so I want to teach you what that freedom framework is. Freedom is an acronym, and I'm going to break it all down along with some of the biggest mistakes that I see new freelancers make. And again, that'll be available next week. I've put up in the description a link for you to just be able to get on that wait list so that you're the first to find out that you can go sign up for that training and learn more about how I am able to work together with these women following the freedom framework for them to be able to quit their job, pay off debt, build these businesses that blow through so many statistics around new businesses and be able to hit their revenue goals while doing it within the boundaries of the time that they are available to be able to work. Now, again, this isn't a get rich quick thing of like you're going to work 1 hour a day and you're going to make $1,000,000. You are going to work. And at times it might feel hard. We talked about the whole mindset thing at the beginning of this conversation, but you don't have to do any of that alone. And when you focus on the strategy of growing your network instead of worrying about cold pitching or marketing yourself or trying to escape the part where you have to work, which I think is the appeal of so many of these businesses in a box. It's like, we think we're not qualified or we're not good enough. And so, well, that sounds like something I could actually handle. The problem is we're being misled in those situations. So if someone's selling you something and they're like, oh, it's going to be easy peasy, you're just going to work 1 hour a day and have all this stuff. Again, we want our red flag radar to be blaring. Okay. Freelancing does take work, but it can also completely change the way that you are living your life. I've seen it, it's happened to me, and I want to be able to teach you that formula as well. So again, you can sign up to find out about that freedom framework that I'm walking you through. It's starting next week, but if you get on that wait list, you will be one of the first to find out about it. So if you guys have any questions from today's video, please let me know. I'll be back in the comments. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway was today. And if you are a free mama coming in and watching this video and you know that what I shared today is the truth, like you, meaning you have lived through this to tell the tale, I want you to also comment because you might be able to help someone else who's reading and is still hesitant or working through some of these internal objections or sort of the bad advice that they've been given over the years and maybe doubting whether or not freelancing is the path for them. So share your experience as well. And I hope to see you guys on that training with the 7-step freedom framework next week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.